Okay, welcome back. As I said that in this lecture, the topic I will discuss, which is the law of chemical combination. Just a quick recap. The different chemical processes, okay, and where two elements or more than two elements combine each other and they form the product. Okay, combinations. Now they follow a certain laws. Okay, and those laws are known as the law of chemical combination. Now, this law of chemical combinations is consists of many laws. Okay. Now, one by one, the first law is the law of conservation of mass. It's the law of conservation of mass. What it says? It says that the pu- of in any physical or a chemical change in a physical and a chemical change, the total mass of the reactant will be equal to that of the product. Okay. Let's say if you have a combination A plus B to C plus D. Let's say this is a chemical process where A and B both together is reacting and they are converting to the C plus. This is a chemical process. Now, in this chemical process, the total mass, the total mass of reactants that is A and B will be equal to the total mass of product. Okay, that is C plus D. Okay, so this is the law of conservation of mass. Okay, like if I take an example, if I take an example, a reaction silver nitrate. If I use silver nitrate, silver nitrate with sodium chloride solution, so what I will get? I will get a silver chloride AgCl precipitate plus sodium nitrate. Now, if you calculate the total mass both sides, it will be same. Hmm? So this is a law of conservation of mass. This is very fundamental, very much fundamental. Okay. Number two, law of definite or constant proportion. Law of definite constant proportion. Okay. What it says? What it says? It says that a pure substance, yes, a pure substance, a pure substance, okay, a pure substance always consists of same elements combined together in some definite proportion of mass. A pure substance always consists of the same elements combined together in same definite proportion of mass. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a process M plus N, they are combining to form Mn. Okay, and let's say if you have this M and N from different sources, let's say, okay, so let's say in one source you have this is A and this is B, A grams and you have B grams. Okay, you have A grams and you have B grams. And in source 2, you have this is C grams and this is D grams. Okay, now if you follow this law or if this law is valid, as can reverse also is there. If this law is valid, then what you can say? The A by B will be equal to C by D. This is important. Many numerical problems, what you will see, they will give you the this A B. Let's say you have to evaluate this A and B and C and D, and let's say they told you to show that this follows the law of definite or constant proportion. Then what you have to prove, this ratio A by B should be equal to or near equal to C by D. So this is the law of definite constant proportion. Now, if I give you an example, let's say water, hydrogen plus oxygen is H2O. right? So this is what? So this is, if I see, this is hydrogen plus oxygen is H2O, they are not balanced. So this is 2 grams and this is 16 grams. Okay, and they are forming, this is not interesting. So what is this? A by B, or age, weight of hydrogen by weight of oxygen, if I do, then it is 2 by 16, nothing but 1 by 8. 1 by 8, right? Now, if I use, let's say, another, if I take case, another case, another reaction where you have copper oxide plus hydrogen, you have what? H2O plus copper, right? Now here, the oxygen is what? 16 and hydrogen is 2. H2O is formed. So hydrogen by oxygen is basically 2 is to 16, that is 1 by 8. So you see here the formation of water in both cases, and that follows this weight of hydrogen by weight of oxygen is basically here 1 by 8. 1 by 8. Okay. So what is here? So it follows the law of definite constant proportion. Achha. Now, if we see that the converse of this law, if we talk about the converse of this law, so what is the converse of this law? The converse of the law is, let's say when you have same elements, na, when you have same elements, they combine to form, combine in constant proportion, that proportion by mass, the same compounds will always be formed. But in some cases, the state, the compounds may not, may be different. Okay, like if I give you the example, let's say, hmm, if I give you the example, okay, the reverse statement. Let me say again, the reverse of this statement. Reverse of this statement. Okay, let me say it again. When some elements combine with a constant proportion by mass, which we saw last example, oxygen, hydrogen, water 1 is to 8. So this is oxygen and hydrogen is 1 is to 8 and they are forming water. In both cases we saw. But there are few cases where, let's say, oxygen and hydrogen are forming 1 is to 8 ratio, but the final compound, targeted compound, is not water. It can be water and something else. Okay, let me give you an example. In case of isomers, if we talk about isomers, okay, like CH3, CH2OH, this is ethanol. Hmm? And if we talk about CH3O, CH3, this is dimethyl ether. Now, if I take the ratios of the elements here, okay, so carbon is to hydrogen is to oxygen. What will be here? Two carbons, one carbon, two carbons. So 2 into 12, 24 is to hydrogen 3 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 6 hydrogen is to oxygen is how much? 1. So 16. So what will be the ratio if I divide by 3? Okay, this will be, the 3 is your 8 is to 2 is to, not by 3. Okay, it will be by, let's say, if I divide by uh, 2, it will be 12 is to 3 is to 8. 12, 3, 8 is the ratio, correct? Okay, if you talk about this one, C is to H is to O, so which is also 2 carbon, so 24, 24 is to hydrogen, 336 hydrogen is to 1 oxygen. So this is also 12 is to 3 is to 8. Now you see, the both cases the ratios are same. Both cases the ratios are same, but two compounds are different. So this is a converse law of this converse statement of the law of definite or constant proportion. That is, your ratios may be same, but your targeted compounds may be different. Okay. So, and it applicable for the concept of isomers. Concept of isomers. Okay. So there are several cases where you will find a limitation of this statement. Okay. Let me tell you the state limitation, give you the example of the limitation. Limitation. So obviously, where this is basically is what the ratio. And if you think about this is nothing but the 12 carbons, if I take that two carbons are there. So this is ratio is basically the stoichiometric ratio, right? So where this law will not hold. Obviously, where your stoichiometry is not followed, that means there are few compounds where you have non-stoichiometric compounds, okay, where you have a variable molecular composition, like titanium oxide. This is TiO, but this TiO is basically nothing with Ti, okay, this is Ti 0.70 or it can be Ti 0.690. So these are variable common. This is titanium oxide. Okay. There is another oxide, cuprous oxide, CuO. It should be right. Sorry, cuprous sulfide, CuS. CuS. If you talk about, okay. So CuS, Cu2S, cuprous. Okay. So it basically exists like this way. Copper, copper was 1.7S or copper 2S. This way it can exist. So here you will get a variable molar mass, variable molar mass, or different different stoichiometry. Stoichiometry. That means if your stoichiometry is different in these cases, this will not follow the definite law of constant proportion. So these are limitations. So these laws also have limitations, and the law means it does not means it will not applicable for everything. Few cases it will be applicable, few cases it will not applicable. Okay. Acha. Next, let me rub this part. Okay. Okay. Next, what you have? Next, you have the law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion. What is it? Law of multiple proportion is basically when two or more elements form. Okay. Elements form and they combine to form more than one or two compounds. Okay. Then the masses of the elements which combine with a fixed mass of other bear a simple number ratio. Okay. Like, let me say it again. When two or more elements, two elements, more elements combine to form compound. Okay. And that can be more than one compound also. Okay. Now with the masses, the elements are combining to form the final compound. That masses with fixed masses. Okay, the fixed masses. If you fix one mass, they will bear. Okay, they will bear a whole number ratio. Hmm? Acha. So let's take the example. Let's say if I come think the nitrogen as come element and oxygen element, so they will form a N-type compound. Okay, N-type compound. Okay. Now this N plus O, due to their variable valency in both cases, to they can combine to form many compounds, right? So let's take one by one examples. Okay. Acha. First example, N2O. If we talk about N2O, then what is nitrogen? Nitrogen here is 28 and oxygen is here 1. So oxygen is 16. So what is nitrogen into oxygen? Now here, what I will do, I will fix nitrogen in 14. I will fix nitrogen in 14. Okay, because 14 is its atomic mass. So I will fix nitrogen in 14. So if nitrogen is 14, then what is the oxygen here? 28 by 2, so 16 by 2. So this is 14 is to 8. So I am fixing this. Fixed. Nitrogen is fixed. Okay, next, what I have? NO2. Okay, NO. This 28, sorry, this is 14, this is 16, so this 14 is to 16. Simple. Okay, see, 14, 14. 8, 16, the whole numbers. Okay, next, N2O3. So this is 28 and this is 48. So this is nothing but if I divide by 2, 14 is to 24. So see, this is fixed, this is the whole number. But if I reverse this, let's reverse. Reverse means now what I did here, here I fixed the nitrogen. In the law, what is that? If the masses of one of the elements is combined with each other, if fixed mass, okay, then it's bear a whole number ratio. That means if I fix this nitrogen here, the ratio is a whole number. You see, 8, 16, 24. I get a whole number. But if I do the reverse, if I fix the oxygen, will it bear it? Let's see. So nitrogen is oxygen, where I fixing the oxygen. Is fixed. Okay. So same compound I will do here. So this is 28 by 16. Okay. So this is what? Then 28 is to 16. Fine. Now, in case of this 28, 48. Okay. So what you have to do? 48 has to 16. So you have to divide by 3 and 28 also divide by 3. If I divide 28 by 3, it is how much coming? 28, 3. 9, 27, 1, 9.333. So this is comes 9.33 is to 16. You see, fractional game. Okay, you see, fractional game. Fractional game. So in this case, if you fix the oxygen, the rule of law of multiple proportion does not valid. So this is the exception case. So whenever you will encounter numerical problems, okay, let's say if you someone give you to prove to verify this law of multiple proportion, they will tell you that which atom, either this one or this one. Okay, let's say someone give you metal oxide. Okay, in that case they will tell you to fix the mass of metal or fix the mass of oxygen that they will mention in the numerical. So in this case, when nitrogen, if you take the nitrogen fix, then this law is applicable. But if you take the oxygen as a fix, this law is not valid. So this is one of the exception case. Okay, if you take oxygen, this is the exception case. So this you will happen if you take do it. Okay, this is a homework you will do. Okay, let's say if you take a hydrocarbon CH compound, hydrocarbon. So what hydrocarbons here? CH4, C2H6. Let's say if we go in alkane series, C2H6, C3H8. This kind of if you do. Okay, if you take carbon, I don't know. I really don't know. If you take carbon, you fix carbon and check the ratios. If you take fix the hydrogen, then you can check the ratios. Okay, fix the hydrogen 1 and check the ratios. If you fix the carbon in 12 and check the ratios. And let's check that this law of multiple proportion valid or not. Check the law. Check the law of multiple proportion. Okay, this is the homework. Okay, and let me know. Hmm? Let me know. Seriously, I didn't do it. Let me know what happens if you take the hydrocarbon series. Okay, so this is the law of multiple proportion. Hmm. Now, next law, which is the last law, and there you have another last law in the mass section. Mass section, that is the law of, okay, the last section is that is the law of reciprocal proportion. Law of reciprocal proportion. So what is this? This is very interesting, very nice. I love this law. What they're saying is that let's say you have three, okay, and two of them are very good friends, and one of them is a mutual of both of them. Okay, now let's say you have three friends. Okay, A, B and C. Now, A is basically common friend of B and C. So A is relation with C and B is also friend with C. Now in between B and C, so B and A, the ratio B and A will form, the A and C, the ratio will form. If I fix this amount A here and that part which is left, okay, let's say if this is 2 is to 1 and this is, let's say, 3 is to 1, then B and C will form in the ratio 2 is to 3. This is the law of reciprocal proportion. When two different elements combine separately with a fixed mass third element, then the ratio between their masses in which they combine will be either some simple with either same or simple multiple ratios in which they will combine with each other. I'm repeating again. When two different elements, okay, combine separately with the third element, okay, then the ratio between their masses which they will combine either be same either be same or simple multiple ratios in which they will combine with each other. Okay. Now let me give you the example, then it will be very clear. Let's say you have two compounds. Okay. One compound is methane and another compound is, let's say, water. So what are the three key compounds? Here is hydrogen is here, carbon is here, and oxygen is here. Right? So three key elements are here. Now in case of methane, what you have? In case of methane, carbon is 12 grams and hydrogen is 4 grams. Okay. And in case of water, hydrogen is 2 grams and oxygen is 16 grams. Okay. Now what is the ratio if I take carbon is to hydrogen? It is 12 by 4. That is 3 by 1. Okay. And what will be if I take oxygen by hydrogen? What will be the ratio? 16 by 2. That is 8 by 1. Okay. So now carbon by hydrogen is to oxygen by hydrogen is to what? 3 by 1 is to 8 by 1. Right? Okay. So no, let's include this way. So if I fix here hydrogen, carbon, oxygen here, if you see the hydrogen is equal to 1 here and hydrogen is equal to 1 here. So if I fix 1 here, then what is the carbon? Carbon is 3 here and oxygen is 8 here. So the compound they will form will have the ratio 3 to 8. Let's see if it happens or not. Let's take carbon dioxide. In carbon dioxide, carbon you have how much? 12 grams and oxygen how much you have? 2 into 16, 32 grams. So what is the carbon by oxygen? Is basically 12 by 32. So what is this? If I cut by 4, 3 fours are 12 and 8 fours are 32. So it's the 3 to 8 ratio. Okay? 3 to 8 is valid. Yes, the law of reciprocal proportion is valid for this case. Methane, hydrogen, methane, water, and carbon dioxide. So this is valid. Okay. Now, if, let's see if I there is another case. Let's say if I take carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon monoxide. So in this case, carbon by oxygen is how much? 12 by 16. So this is what is the ratio? 12 is 4 3 and 4 4. So this is 3 is to 4 ratio. But in this case, law of reciprocal proportion is not valid. It's 3 is to 4 is coming. But it should come 3 is to 8. Why is coming? That's why carbon monoxide is known as the incomplete version of carbon oxygen. Okay. If you do the combustion of carbon in presence of oxygen, incomplete combustion leads to carbon monoxide, whereas the complete combustion leads to the formation of carbon dioxide. Okay. And see, this is the exception, definite exception. A law of reciprocal proportion does not follow, and maybe due to the incomplete combustion, incompleteness of carbon monoxide, this law is not valid. The ratio is different. And in case of complete combustion, you get carbon dioxide. Okay, and this carbon dioxide leads to the ratio 3 is to 8, which is the follows the law of reciprocal proportion. Okay, and the last law which I will talk about here now. Now, till then, the four laws what I talked about is basically their masses of the different elements present in this universe. Okay, the masses. But what happens in case of pure gaseous reactions? Like if we talk about hydrogen plus oxygen, they will form water. Let's say I'm talking about steam. Okay. Or let's say if I think about nitrogen plus hydrogen, which is the production of ammonia. Okay. These are all the gaseous reactions if you talk about. Then there was one person whose name was Gelusa. Hmm? They said that under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, why? Because this is a gaseous reaction, temperature and pressure. Under similar conditions of temperature and pressure, whenever a gas whenever the gas reacts together to form a product which is also a gas, to form a product which is also a gas, the volumes of the reacting gases as well as the product bears simple whole number, as well as the bears a simple whole number. How? If I balance this, this is what? This is Mm, let's give him here 2 and here 3. So 1 volume of nitrogen with 3 volumes of hydrogen combines to form 2 volume of ammonia. That is 1, 3 and 2. This is the whole number. So this is what Gay-Lussac said. Okay. So basically what he said in summary is that gaseous, the gaseous elements in under same condition of temperature and pressure, the volumes, their volumes will be the volumes they are combining with, okay, the reactants and the products, they will be a simple whole number. Here, the one volume, it cannot be fractional. It cannot be fractional. Okay, it will be whole number. 1, 3, 2. Okay, so these are the all 5 laws you have to learn. Okay, basic laws, basic things about. Okay, and what you have to encounter do from here you will have to encounter different numerical problems that I will give you in the assignments, or in the last lecture I can discuss the numerical problems. Okay, and mostly what you will see here is they will tell you that to find the exceptions. Okay, they check these observations are there. Now you check that this law is valid or not, or they can ask you directly that what laws are there. Okay, write down the statements and all. So you should have a complete understanding. So in summary, what I can say, the first 4 laws, which is the law of conservation of mass, law of definite proportion, law of multiple proportion, and law of reciprocal proportion, they talk about the mass distribution. Whereas this last law, which is the Gay-Lussac law of gas volume, they talk about the volume. So mass and volumes, you will later on you will check that this mass and volumes both are basically the fundamental thing to describe a chemical reaction, and they will help you further to designate the chemical reaction. The next what we will learn, next lecture video, what I will discuss is basically if you have a mass. Okay, now how will you define a mass of an element? Okay, and that element, particularly when you define the mass, you have to take a reference. Okay. At some point, when you take the reference, that reference you should use for all cases, right? Let's say if you define a mass for oxygen with respect to one reference, using that reference, you should be also able to define the mass of a chlorine, right? Now that reference, when you use, that mass of a chlorine becomes equal, not equal, I would say equivalent to the mass of oxygen with respect to that reference. This weight, this particular weight of that oxygen and chlorine, where you have same reference, that is known as the equivalent weight. Okay, this I will discuss in details and with a small conceptual thing in the next video. So till then, thank you, and learn these laws and try some numericals. I will help you later. Try some numerical, and most importantly, try to understand the